Hey guys, Tellteller here. Today I'm going to be talking about the lore of Centaura, or as I like to call it, Roblox PTSD Simulator. Centaura takes place in the same world and timeline as Dead Ahead, which I also made a video about. I recommend watching that too. I'll put timestamps and links in the description. In 1886, the nation of Cetus took over South Corvus, a province of Corvus, their neighbor to the north. South Corvus was rich in coal and other minerals, which prompted Cetus to invade. Corvus, believing the Cetans to be much stronger, decided to let it happen without opposition. Corvus's new lack of natural resources led to a wave of poverty and unrest among its people. This sparked a common resentment and hatred towards Cetus. In 1907, Corvus had gathered enough intelligence to determine that the Cetan army was undermanned. The Corvan military generals decided that it was best for them to try and take back South Corvus. In 1908, after a year of military buildup, Corvan troops marched into South Corvus. The two main nations in Centaura are the Empire of Cetus and the Federation of Corvus. Antares is also going to be added to the game soon. Cetus was a relatively dominant empire when it took over South Corvus in 1886. Its main goals at the time were industrializing, which they had already partially done, and exploring the Ananas Ocean. Because Cetus was so focused on the Ananas Ocean, the majority of its budget was poured into their navy and shipbuilding industry, which at the time rivaled that of Antares. This led to Cetus's army being severely underfunded, barely being able to supply its men with food. This led to a large disadvantage when Corvus attacked in 1908, as the majority of the fighting was on land. Corvus, the other main nation in Centaura, was plunged into unrest and corruption after southern Corvus was taken from them. The majority of the riots and famines occurred in the south, where its big cities were. The northern side of Corvus was barely affected, as it was wealthier and more remote. Much of Corvus's initial army was deployed as riot police in an attempt to combat the riots caused by the rising coal and food shortages. After this, the events of Centaura took place. As for Antares, well, it hasn't been added yet, but you all probably already know about it. Centaura focuses on the first phase of the Centurian War and takes place between 1908 and 1912. There are other parts of it too. I talked about those in my Dead Ahead video. Go and check that out. When the war started in 1908, it was very mobile. Corvus made significant gains through 1908 and 1909, gaining much of its lost territory back. As the years dragged on, Corvus's offensive into South Corvus slowed down, eventually resulting in trench warfare across the front lines. In 1911, Antares joined the war on the side of Corvus, eventually breaking the stalemate and winning the war in 1912. Antares then annexed both Corvus and Cetus. The three maps in the game are Boomtown, Coastal Batteries, and Gridlock. Boomtown takes the form of an abandoned mining town and is set in 1908. Coastal Batteries is basically a bunch of forts on the coast. It's set in 1909. The final map is Gridlock, which is much more centered around trench warfare. It takes place in 1911. I'm pretty sure they're going to add new maps. So that was the lore of Centaura. To anyone seeing this, thanks a lot for watching to the end. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm also doing a 2-part series about the lore and storyline of the game Dredge. Stay tuned so you don't miss that. It should be coming in the next few weeks.